Hi, I'm Kathy. I'm a brand partner in Lifeway since last August, and would like to share a incident with you. My son Jason is 41 years old, and at an early age, he was diagnosed with mild to moderately retardation and apraxia, the inability to speak.
Hmm.
He was labeled as special needs and was given an aid, and they used special sound devices to help him, sign language, and speech therapy. And from there, he just worked on, um, developing in the school. Years later, we were introduced to craniosacral therapy, and they established through that he most likely had a stroke at birth.
Wow.
Prior to August 2022, he went through life basically using very few words, answering questions of other people. Never really would speak to people all alone. He always had the backup. He'd look around for something that he could point to, or he could see that he was trying to explain, but usually always went and got a family member to help him. So his confidence was through having somebody basically at his side.
Wow.
He couldn't express himself the way he wanted to and would get frustrated, but normally he would just keep trying, even if it was 10 or 15 minutes to make you
Yeah.
understand what he was trying to talk to.
And what was the limitation on his words?
Um,
Like how many could he use at a time?
Usually it was like 3 or 4 distinct words that he could use, but nothing large words or anything like that he could use. He did no sentences. It was one word. You'd ask him a question, and then he would do maybe another word. So from there, it was we were at the right place at the right time, and we were introduced to Lifeway's X39 patches from longtime friends. They had told us how the patches had helped them in certain of their health needs, and they had testimonies from other people that they had met through Lifeway. And one was particularly good, that they had mentioned that someone had had a stroke, and the patches had helped him regain his normal speech.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, I felt that it was God's answer to our prayers that we would ask for Jason to be healed. And we signed up, received the patches within a week. And until then, our friends had given us patches to start Jason on right away. After Jason was on the patches for 1 week, we worked at a fair. It was a 3 or 4 day fair that he would go off and do stuff while my husband and I did the work at the fair. And that was pretty normal for him, but he'd always come back and get me or my husband to go with him somewhere if he needed something, if he needed food, or if he wanted to try to tell somebody something that they didn't understand. And we were totally amazed that he had gone and signed himself up to play in a cornhole competition. And like, he had his name tag on and the booth that he was representing, but otherwise there was nothing else except for what he could do and what he wanted to do to help play the game with other people. He even picked out a partner to help him, a bunch of people that he had never met before.
And this is in the first week of being patched.
That was in the first week of being patched.
And this is what you meant when you said earlier that he normally would want that comfort zone of you or a family member to be with him to do that. He'd walk around, but he wouldn't have interacted like this.
Absolutely.
That's already amazing right there.
Yeah. But we realized how much more confidence that he did have. And he just was speaking more clearly, not an abundance more of words, but more distinctly, so people could understand him more. So that was really a big step for him.
And how much did it increase for him? When you had mentioned about the words.
Yeah, well, after I don't know, even a month, if it was that he had the ability to do actually 6 to 10 words, and they were all much more distinct than he had been speaking. So he developed from that. When he came back and he went to work, people realized that he was talking better. They could understand him. People that we have met through the different times, different activities and stuff, he would go off and talk to them. And they would come up to me later and say, "Oh, we really understood what Jason was saying. We can't believe it. What's going on?" So we, of course, explained to them about the patches that we were using and stuff. And it was pretty awesome to realize that he was really improving in his mental state, his confidence, his friendliness with other people.
Wow.
So it developed more with that. So we're pleased.
It's incredible. I've heard people say this before, but you truly cannot argue with results. I've heard some people even say things like when they were talking about their testimony, they're like, "I don't know what's going on, but this is what it's doing for me."
Right.
And because, once hey, it's non-transdermal, it's not putting anything in you. It's like, okay, let's go. And thank God you guys were, I don't want to say desperate, but you were willing to try something to help them. And look at this. It's only been 8-9 months, and the improvements, it's so awesome. Thank God. And, and when you had mentioned the other day about, it wasn't just by chance. I mean, you weren't supposed to be in Orlando.
No.
But you were. It just wasn't part of your plan.
No.
But God definitely wanted you to be there, and it's been awesome for Jason and you guys. What a great testimony to see somebody that is being just lifted out of some of those limitations. I can't even imagine. And when I remember Patty and Ed, of course, my in-laws, of course, that brought you to the patch. I remember them saying, they had talked to him a little bit on the phone, and they could notice that clarity and stuff. And so that's just awesome to hear. And I'm so glad you guys are not holding this down, that you're sharing it with other people. And I think it's incredible that people are just noticing it in him. You don't even have to say anything, So thank you for sharing this for people to see this. I really pray this touches people, and anybody that they know that could be in similar situations will definitely, have the boldness to reach out and just bless people with this, because it's truly a blessing. This patch is just using our own body to heal and accelerate healing of things going on in the body. So
better you've had them, and just keep doing it as long as you can, and the results will come in.
Yeah, and we're hearing, we've heard it from you. We're hearing other people. We've been in this since June of 22, and we're hearing people with more things that they're noticing and stuff, and it's just incredible. I mean, because it's our body's a complex thing, and some things take a little time. So, but praise God. Thank you so much, Kathy, for this. Thank you for taking the time to share this. And this is really going to bless a lot of people, and I really appreciate you sharing your heart with this and the testimony for Jason. Thank you so much, Kathy.
Thank you.